Hi guys, it's Terry here, and I thought I would explore an interesting sort of deck concept that I came across playing against a guy called Nulsrak on DB, so shout out to him. If you follow the channel for a little bit, you know that I am a fan of the Crusadia archetype. I've played it quite a few times, either at a winner box and regionals, I just kind of really like what you can do with it. And I found that he was playing a Prank Kids Crusadia list, and I thought, let's look at it. So I'm going to go through his profile, and then I'm going to sort of go through my version that I've sort of based a little bit off of this, but sort of went in another different direction, the combos of that style, and maybe a gameplay video. So moving into his Prank Kid lineup, we start off with the triple dropsies, the double fansies, the double lampsies, double roxies. I mean, that seems okay, but so far. We have the pranks, we have plan, and that's sort of it for the sort of pranky cards in the main deck. We then move on to his Crusadia lineup, which was 2 Arborea, 2 Draco, 2 Maximus, then 1 Leonis and 1 Reclusia, the 1 Crusadia Revival, and the 1 Crusadia Crawler. And then sort of as a lot of last sort of like engine piece, we have the Thunder Dragon Fusion, which will be used to summon out the Battle Butler from the extra deck. And then sort of for like extenders, he has 2 Parallel Exceed, 2 War Legacy Successions, and the Monster Reborn. And then sort of moving on to the hand traps, defensive cards, and just sort of like other like cards within the deck. Yeah, triple Droll, double Ash Blossom, triple Droplets, triple Strike, 1 Call by the Grave, and 1 Upstart Goblin. And then moving on to the extra deck in terms of the Prank Kid side, we have the Meow Meow Mews, 2 copies, 1 Doodle Doo, 1 Rip Roaring Roaster, and 1 Battle Butler. Moving on to the Crusadias, we have 1 Magius, 1 Regulex, 1 Crusadia Avermax, and then moving on to the other links within the deck, we have a Link Spider, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Perverted Anaconda, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 access code, and then we have the Herald of the Arclight and the Totally Awesome as the last cards in the extra deck. So when I actually played against him, it was sort of really interesting to watch because I was sort of completely shocked because he sort of started off with the Prank Kid side, then just special into Crusadia. Um, and when I tried to take this list out for a spin, it was okay, but I came into sort of two issues with it. And to be fair to him, he did say this was just more of a concept list. He said it needed refining. But the first thing was I felt there was a bit of an issue in terms of like what the win condition was. So in my mind, at least when I was playing it, I assumed that I wanted to probably try to end on, like say, Avramax, the Anaconda, and the Battle Butler. That seemed like that would be the most natural thing to try to end on. But I found that because it wasn't fully refined, there wasn't a fully like coherent combo that led you to that, and it kind of felt a bit sort of like lackluster. And my meaning in that, so this is sort of the second flaw, was that if you see the Prank Kid side and the Crusadia side, that's fine, but equally you're not playing enough of their respective extra decks to sort of do enough. So, for example, like you can get all the way up to the Doodle Doo with just the Prank Kid side, but you're not really gaining much from that at that point. And if you draw the Crusadia side, that's fine. You can then sort of try to combo that way, but then you only get up to Regulex, which will get you the most likely the Crusadia Crawler. But then again, you're reaching a point where you've hit nothing you can do, because I found myself going into this a lot, and then I found myself going into this part a lot, but then everything else within the extra deck was sort of like weird. It was based on whether I drew an extender or not, or an extra Crusadia, and again, like the likelihood of me seeing that many Crusadias when I'm playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's it's 20% of the deck, but again, there's some times you won't see them, and then again, like I've never found myself summoning the Herald, the Arclight, or the Totally Awesome. Toad, I know you can using the double dropsies, but again, throughout combo lines, that's pretty difficult. Herald, I guess if you have like an Ash or the Arborea on the board somehow, and you can get the fancies off, but again, that just didn't really come up. And then the Rip Roaring Roaster again never really came up because you're not really getting enough bodies on board, leaving enough bodies on board to sort of link summon and resolve it. I just felt that it was lacking some direction in the combo sequence. So I appreciated him sharing his list with me, and I gave it a try. And like as a it was a good concept. But then I think now I'm going to move on to show you sort of how I took the deck, my version of it, and sort of explain my choices. So we'll get on to that right now. So, as you can see, so this is my list. So we'll just go through it. You could probably see there's a few differences and a few more pieces involved. Um, so my prank kids lineup is the two fansies, the one dropsies, the one lampsies, one roxies, two prank kids place, one pranks, one terraforming, and one for one, technically as the sort of prank kids line. So to sort of explain my sort of ratios, I believe Fansies is the best one because Fansies helps you dump another name into the graveyard, which is very important for when you want to try to get itself dropsies and lampsies into the graveyard for Thunder Dragon Fusion with Battle Butler. So I feel like playing two of this is fine. So that's good. And then you need to play one of the Dropsies and one of the Lampsies just as requirements for the Battle Butler. And then the Roxies is in here just as an additional name, just because it gets you to the other prank kids. But also, like, I've actually found the draw effect can be very nice just to possibly see another extender. Like, if you open two Crusadies that you can special summon, you can banish one to draw another card and hopefully get something better from that. I then played two place, which could be any name that you need if it did come up, because I guess sometimes in certain matchups you may want to gain more life points with dropsies, or maybe you want to start off with like lampsies to burn them, and also the fact that going second you'd be able to chain block your prank hit effect was very important to me, so that's why I chose to go with two place. The one pranks is here for part of the combo, just the token generation is useful in it, but also if you've managed to get a lot of your prank kids engraved, it becomes a nice little recursion of just shuffling them back in your end phase and drawing a card, which has come up in a couple games that I played. And then the terraforming, which is basically the third copy of the place, and the one for one, which does require a discard, but the key thing, it gets you to your fansies without a normal summon, which is very useful. Then we'll just move on to the Crusadias. Nothing really to say here. I play triple Arborea, triple Leonis, triple Reclusia, triple Draco, and triple Maximus. I just feel like I'm taking this with the side of I want to see the Crusadias. The Crusadias are very good. They are all extenders. They are all part of the combo, and I want to see them. Like Arborea is good for protection. Leonis is technically the worst one. Piercing may come up. Reclusia is your destruction. Draco's your recursion, and actually a very key part for the Guard Dragon line, which we'll move into. And Maximus is again just sort of for the OTK side of things, which is maybe less relevant with this version of the deck, but I just wanted to max out again just to make sure that I can always see a Crusadian name. Then we'll move into the other portion of the deck. I know some people might be tired of the Dogmatika engine, but it sort of works in this deck. So we're just playing the one Ecclesia, the one Fleur-de-Lis, and the one Maximus. The Ecclesia is oddly, genuinely just here to be just a free special summon, because it can be special summoned if we control a monster from the extra deck. We don't really find ourselves using the effect to add a Dogmatika card that often. In certain situations it's fine, but it's again just mainly here as another name and a body that can just be freely summoned. The Fleur-de-Lis is part of your ending combo because you'll have this in hand at the end of it, and Maximus is the very important side because it is definitely part of the combo. If you wanted to even cut these two, you definitely could, but this is definitely important in this side, which we'll move on to. And then obviously we play the Shadal Schism, which is just there for the sort of Maximus play. We then have the Phalanx and the Divine Lance. These are just engine requirements to help as part of our combo because it helps clear the Guard Dragons and also just gives you an additional body with the Romulus, which we'll move on to. And then for our last sort of other cards, we have the two engine. We'll move these over here because they're engine requirements, of course. So these are the last two engine requirements, being a Brotar, which is part is how you're going to search your Maximus and the Thunder Dragon fusion, which is important for get summoning the Battle Butler and sending it off for Anaconda. However, if you draw a Thunder Dragon fusion, it's not the end of the world because you can just resolve it at any time, unlike things like Red Eyes fusion and so on. And then for the last sort of cards in the deck, for our sort of like extenders, just move these over again. We have the 2 Ranryu. Ranryu is important just because it can be special summoned basically if you have a Crusadia, because you can convert that Crusadia into Maximus. And it's also nice that it's a dragon that can be summoned because you can use it for the Guard Dragon plays. We play 1 Monster Reborn and 1 World Legacy Succession, just, as our pretty free extenders. And then we had 3 extra spots in the deck, so we went for 2 talents just in case we get hand trapped, as this deck would be very susceptible to it. And we play the 1 Call By to help mitigate that kind of thing against hand traps. Then we move on to our extra deck. Again, we'll start off with the sort of Prank Kids line. So we have the Meow Meow Mew, the Doodle Doo, and the Battle Butler. So again, this is all fine. Like, this is your starting point to make sure that to start your sort of prank kid line. Doodle is very good because it gets you to your pranks, and it also tributes itself off to add 2 prank kids cards from your graveyard to your hand, which is very important because you actually need that tributing effect to help carry on with the rest of the combo, but we'll get into that very shortly. And the Battle Butler, it's very good. It's a Regeki that you can trigger twice thanks to the Meow Meow, and if it dies by your opponent's card, like just sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card, you can like special summon another guy, which has come up, which is very useful. Our Crusadia extra deck line is pretty small. It's just Magius to start the combo and Equimax to end on. There's not much really to say about it. Equimax is very important because he is a negation typically. And then we'll just move on to the other parts. So we have some of our fusions here, which is the El Shaddai Winda, the App Cologne, and the Titanic Cloud. This is all just part of our Dogmatika engine. But you'll see, again, if you've not seen how this works, you'll see it in the combo. We have our Guard Dragon side, which is the Elpie, Pisty, and the Romulus. And then we have Link Spider, which is just a combo requirement. We have the Verte Anaconda, combo requirement. Celine, the Queen of Master Magicians, which is very important to our combo. And we have 1 sort of flex spot left, so we thought we might as well go with access code, just so once you go through your full combo, you can then just link into the access code, clear off anything that they may have set up, and then just swing for game. So that's the sort of profile. Alright, so now we'll just move on to the combo portion, and to show you the combo, it's a 3-card combo, and what you will need is any Prank Kid, any Crusadia, and any extender that you get on the board. For the sake of this, I've picked Ecclesia, but literally you just need another thing to get a monster on board. So we'll just go through it. So you'll start off by normal summoning your Prank Kid, linking it off into Meow Meow, and then you'll trigger your Prank Kid's effect, in this case Lampsies, to special summon off Fansies. You'll then link the Meow Meow and the Prank Kid you summon into the Doodle Doo. You will trigger your Doodle, and you'll trigger the other Prank Kid, getting out the final Prank Kid. In this case, it will be Roxy's, and you'll add the pranks. So at this stage, you can see that you have 2 bodies on board, which is fine, but you've also basically got all the names you need for Battle Butler engraved, being the Lampsies, Fansies, and Dropsies. So we'll move on. Next, you will special summon your Crusadia. You'll then trigger Doodle's effect, tributing itself to add back 2 of your Prank Kids. While this seems sort of counterintuitive to like getting them into grave, you'll have plenty of time to discard them within the combo sequence. You then link your Crusadia into Magius. You'll activate the pranks, discard 1 of your Prank Kids to special summon a token. Turn the token into the Link Spider, triggering the Magius and searching Draco. You then link the Link Spider, Magius, and the last Prank Kid on board into Celine. Celine's mandatory effect triggers. Then you'll special summon Draco, and Draco will add back the Crusadia that you used in the first bit. You'll then turn them into Elpie. Elpie will trigger, special summoning out Brotar from your deck. Brotar's effect, you will discard the other Prank Kid you added to targeting Celine to add the Maximus. You'll then turn the Brotar into Pisty. Pisty's effect will target the Draco. And it's key that you want to special summon into the zone. I know you only can special summon into the zone the way the arrows point, but it's nice to know that it has to be here. You then link those two into the Romulus effect at the Divine Lance, and then Divine Lance to get out the Phalanx, activate Phalanx effect, special summon on board. You'll then link the Selene and the Romulus into Equimax. You'll then special summon whatever your extender is. In this case, we'll just activate the Ecclesia. You'll then link those two into the Verte Anaconda. You'll then proceed to activate Maximus effect, banishing any extra monster from your graveyard. Typically, I go for the Pisty, special summon it. You'll then trigger Anaconda's effect, paying 2k, sending the Thunder Dragon Fusion, shuffling back Lampseas, Dropseas, and Fansies to special summon the Battle Butler. You'll then trigger Maximus's effect, sending the Apclone and the Titaniclad. Apclone's effect, you'll add Schism, discarding the Leonis, setting one Schism, and then during the end phase, you will add the Fleur-de-Lis. So, as you can see, this is what you will end on, where you have an Equimax pointing to Draco, equaling 1 negate. You have Battle Butler with the Meow Meow in graveyard, so that leads to double Raigeki. You'll have the Shaddoll Schism set up, so you can summon Winda from your extra deck during your opponent's turn, which is pretty good. And you also have, if you have the spare space, probably after using the Equimax, you'll also have the Fleur-de-Lis in hand to negate another effect. So this is what the combo will end you on, and I think it's pretty effective. So that's it for the deck profile and combo video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed and learned a bit more about the deck. We should have a dual video coming out fairly shortly, just showing what the deck can do facing heroes. So stay tuned for that. If you did enjoy the video, just remember to like, comment, subscribe, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. Shh, not a zombie channel.